Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this special Hope Through Hoops evening presentation. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. The ABA staff was talking over the need to do a video presentation a few weeks ago. And over the course of COVID, we had put out a number of videos, always centered around people finding ways to stay active when they couldn't be in the gym, but they could do at home. And so many organizations have done great work in trying to keep people moving forward. And we started thinking, man, I think kids have had enough of dribbling basketballs in their basement. I think they've had enough of throwing basketballs against the wall, going outside in the cold and shooting on an outside hoop. So we realized, let's do something fun. Let's do something that focuses on hope, and let's entertain people. And that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. That's how Hope Through Hoops came about. We have a fantastic lineup of guests. We have Jacob Hendy, the Executive Director for the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, longtime Senior Women's National Olympic Team regular, Mia Maria Langlois. Ken King comes to us from Calgary. Ken does a ton of work in a variety of areas, and the areas that he's focusing on right now is to build people up mentally and physically. And then we have Shawnee Harley, who is no stranger to anyone in the basketball community in Alberta. And then we're going to turn to a high degree of fun with the amazing Hondo. And Hondo is going to marvel everyone with his magic with a message. And I think you're going to really enjoy what this man has to offer. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And there are a few people here that are special, and I don't know, I'm going to call out one of them right now, and that is my university coach, Coach Les Whitkey, and his wife, Judy, down in Kansas City, Missouri. I believe you're joining us tonight as well. Coach Whitkey coached both myself and the amazing Hondo as we were teammates together at Winona State University. I also want to give a great round of enthusiasm and appreciation to the staff at Alberta Basketball. They've worked extremely hard to put this together, and I'm very grateful for all the work that they've done. Now, for tonight, keep your cameras on, if you would, during the presentations, particularly during Hondo's presentation. You can also use the virtual clap meme down at the bottom of the screen. You'll see some reactions that you're able to tap into. And if you have a question, we don't have the chat room open tonight, but please email it to info@basketballalberta.ca. Again, info@basketballalberta.ca, and we'll get the answer back to you. All right, let's get started here. That's enough of me. We're going to start with our first guest, Jacob Hendy. Jacob, as I mentioned, is the Executive Director of the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta. Jacob, in his bio, talks about how he is a family man. Jacob has 5 children, I believe. Is that right, Jacob? Okay, yeah, 5 correct. Kids. And so he walks the walk as well as talking the talk, that's for sure. But the first time I met Jacob, my impression was, wow, this guy has the it factor. He is committed to helping young people. He's committed to helping his community, and he's committed to taking opportunities to a new height. And so I want to give a big round of applause to Jacob Hendy for joining us tonight. Jacob.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. I just want to say thank you, Alberta Basketball, and Paul, sir, and Jeff, and the others that I've met and worked with the last couple of years. You guys are amazing. I emulate your guys' organization and work to get the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta to be running and effective and smooth as you guys. You guys have been amazing to help out our Indigenous individuals, families, and communities. Just a little bit about myself. My dad was a hippie. Mom was a Valley girl. I was born just outside of Los Angeles, California. Grew up in Utah. Lived in a border town of the Ute reservation, Native American reservation down there. Lived in Canada for 2 years in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Did some service work and really got to love the Canadian people, and came home and I walked on at college. and university football. And I had so many naysayers and people telling me no. And I'm going to share tonight some of the ways that I have hope and inspiration that helped me overcome the naysayers when a lot of them were even my family. I became a top sales manager I was in the industry for 12 years, all over North America. In 2016, I became the CEO for the Edmonton Native Ball Association, which is the Alberta Indigenous Games that runs that. It's the biggest multi-sport Indigenous summer games on a yearly basis in North America. And then in 2019, I became the executive director for the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, and we share the same building there as Alberta Basketball. And I absolutely love working. It's a dream job for me, working with our Indigenous people of Alberta. It's truly amazing. And so I just want to share what gives me hope and inspiration during these times. When I was in high school, I had a very traumatic experience that shook my foundation of my hope and joy in life. And, my hope and joy at that time was built upon my family and football and basketball and baseball. And that was it. And so my family got torn apart and I was empty. I love basketball. I love football. I love all that, but I just still feel empty. And so for me, I'd always believed in God, but for me, I started exercising, I guess, that and getting to know my creator. And that's one thing I love about working with Indigenous organizations. Almost all of our meetings, we start thanking our creator with a prayer. And at the end, at almost every meeting, it's pretty special. And so for me, that's what gave me that hope. And so I had that foundation of my relationship with God, that no matter what happens, a death of a loved one, school can go wrong, an injury, challenge at work, a death of a friend or family member, a pandemic, it's still going to be challenging. It'll still be tough, but I can still have inner peace and joy. And so for me, number one, I just want to share that. That's a big, big source for me. And the biggest thing, what I did was I couldn't control what happened in my life that's challenging, but I could live my choice every day the best that I could for the future Jake, the future version of myself, and for my future family. I wanted to have a family one day. And so I just focused on the little choices because that makes up a big person of who you are. Goals, a big thing for me is setting goals. Right now, I set goals for myself, for my family. And my family is the next biggest thing. I love my wife, Shake Crowfoot. It was her maiden name. She's from Siksika Nation, just outside of Calgary. I have 5 beautiful children, Talita, Jacob, Kalila, Elijah, and Eliana. We just had a newborn, so we've been really busy with her. And I just love seeing them every day. They give me a lot of hope and inspiration. I have a friend who's a doctor. He once told me he's spent a lot of time with elderly, taking care of them in their dying months in the hospitals. And he said that there's a consensus of overall, the biggest regrets that people share and talk about is they wish they would have had more time with their family. They wish they would have had more time with their family. So big thing for me is I'm a big family man. I love spending time with my family. I cherish the relationships that we have because we never know, and especially for youth out there, you're not going to be with your mom and dad as you get older. Eventually one day you're going to be on your own and you won't be with your siblings every day, even though they annoy you. And I try to teach my kids that. And so we got to learn to do that. A big thing that helps me get through this is being grateful. Every day I try to look and see what I'm grateful for, live in a free country. And every one of you that are watching this, you guys have so many amazing talents and gifts and you're incredibly talented. And I've seen that through Alberta basketball. And what can we do while we're here with those talents? And COVID's kind of allowed us a pause to take inventory and to look at certain things that we can develop that maybe we wouldn't before because we're so busy running around doing everything. I love reading. I love spending time with my family. I love waking up in the middle of the night to feed our daughter and talking with my wife about our children or watching our favorite Netflix show. Have a healthy balance though on the Netflix. I love family history. COVID's allowed me to really look into family history. Our ancestors, all of us on here have ancestors that were amazing, that rooted up. And other than the Indigenous people here, like my wife's family, you were already here. But everyone else moved from an entirely different continent, and are here. And they went through some incredible challenges. And so I love learning about my ancestors and who they were and what they did. And there's so many resources right now we can find out about that. One of the things that really helps me out is staying busy with work, just staying busy. And so I know youth out there staying busy with school, your chores around the house, supporting your siblings. But I was in a pipe ceremony once at the Alberta Indigenous Games, and there's an elder, his name's Francis Whiskey Jack. And he shared with me about the medicine wheel teachings. And you can Google up medicine wheel teachings. And what they are is they focus on 4 areas. So if you imagine a pie chart split into 4 of physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. And he says, if you're off balance in one of those areas in your life, it throws off your whole overall well-being. So I've really focused on working hard to do the best that I can physically through working out at home with my family, doing exercises. Can't really go anywhere, but doing things from home. And through our Indigenous Sport Council Alberta, we've done this at-home online fitness challenge. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see our groups and our challenges. It's been very incredible keeping everybody healthy and busy. But a lot of things we can't control right now during COVID. Sometimes visiting our friends or family we can't do, practicing, eating, sometimes getting in a restaurant. But what we can control is our physical health. And when we're physically healthy, that helps us mentally. And that helps us have good mental health. And when that helps us mentally, it helps us emotionally, and it helps us spiritually as well. And so for me, that was a big thing, you know, focusing on what we can control. It can help us out with school and doing our chores and dealing with our siblings, our family members, our teachers, certain things that can be frustrating in life that can really help us out. Basketball, I love basketball. I train my 3 brother-in-laws to play college and university basketball. They're the Crowfoot brothers. And just the little things. It sounds like you guys have already been doing this, plyometrics, jump rope, ball handling, all that. You can only do so much, but this is the good mental part. And I love this activity here tonight. Just encouraging, you know, setting goals is a big thing. Goals for life, not just basketball, but other goals, you know, working on them. COVID's really allowed, I found for our family, time. The biggest thing is time, because we get so busy with all these practices and this and meetings and that, and we've really been able to spend time with each other. Another thing to be careful of, I guess, that helps is social media and being on it too much. That can kind of kill your hope, and to not compare. We should never compare ourselves to anyone else. We are all special. We all have individual journeys. We're all on earth at this time in the history of the world. It's pretty special. And I believe there's a reason for everything. And it's not about the end, but it's about the journey. It's about enjoying it. That's why Tom Brady, I'm a big football fan. I know we're in Canada here. Hockey's a big thing, and this is basketball. Tom Brady loves the journey. That's why a lot of people don't play that long, is because the journey is just too exhausting for him. They just want it. They're worried about the end result. And if they're not going to win a Super Bowl or this or that, but he loves the journey. And so while we're here during this pandemic, enjoy the journey, enjoy the best that we can, smile, laugh every day, live so that you have no regrets. You know, when we make mistakes, it's okay, because we will. Look at them, you know, look for the positive. As a very successful friend, one of my friends, he's from Israel, who's one of the top managers in North America. He said, we win some or we learn some. He's like, Hendy, we win some or we learn some. That's his phrase. Instead of win some, lose some, we win some or we learn some. So I just recommend everybody take that, some advice, and there we go. Thank you, Paul. Thank you to be here. I'm so excited to hear the other presenters and to see the amazing Hondo magic show. So thank you.